So you've done some research and you found a product that looks good, but you're not sure if you're going to make any money on it. You don't know all of the costs involved with landing a product and getting it sold on Amazon. That's why we invented Profits, and it's absolutely free. Here's a walkthrough for you to see how it works. Hey, everybody. So it is time for us to reveal one of the newest tools from Data Dive. I'm super excited to be here with Florin. We are going to walk you through how to use the new Profits tool. The idea behind Profits is that we want people to have an accurate idea of all of the costs involved with developing a product. We know that one of the main reasons people fail in this business is that they do a product, bring it over here, sell it, and then they find out they're not making any money. And so the idea behind Profits is that you're going to be able to account for pretty much every potential cost that you're going to encounter from the time you choose the product at the factory in China to the time it gets into Amazon and sells, with marketing costs, all of that travel expenses, 3PL costs included. And you're going to have an accurate idea of what you should be making on that product should things remain the same. Again, this is not a like to the T, to the number, to the decimal. It is an estimate still, but hopefully it's the most accurate type of estimate that you can find and give you guys an advantage by using it. So I've got Florin here. He's going to walk through an example. We often use a diaper caddy. And so he has pulled up a diaper caddy. He is going to show you what it looks like. Simply to use it, you're going to download the Data Dive extension on datadive.tools. And then when you go to a product page, the button should appear right above the buy box on that product page. So go ahead, Florin. I'll let you take over and share your screen and do a walkthrough with us. I'm sure I'll be interrupting at some point as well.
I already loaded that product in the Profits. The way I did it, I went to the product page and I pressed the huge green Profits button. And let me just show you from top to bottom how we can use this. Now, there's a little bit of secret sauce here because I have the monthly sales velocity already filled in. When I opened the window initially, it looked like this. There was a red, little banner that showed me it's something important missing. And the sales velocity was not here. I'm not going to go into the whole theory of that because we have a video tutorial and people are encouraged to use it. But I already filled mine, so it was this value here, 1747, which I took by following the video tutorial. And then it's a bunch of parameters that explain to the software how we are going to work with our factory and how we're going to ship. What is our production lead time? There's a selection here. 2 weeks is just fine for many factories, but of course it's going to vary depending on the niche. Don't worry about making this a pharmacy accurate thing on the first, let's say, product validation. It can be approximate. When is going my production to end? Obviously not in the past. I was experimenting with some other parameters, but maybe in January I can have my first order done. From the course, I'm using the recommended target tacos of 10%. This is the default value anyway. And this is already calculating for me that my first order, if I'm following all these, if I want to follow all these parameters, is going to be 6,000 pieces. And this is like the simplest use case. I'm already done with the simplest use case for the software, because based on this data that I filled here, I can already see whether this is an interesting and profitable product for me or not on each of the possible shipping methods that I could use for the first leg from China to the US. And the best one is selected by default.
Yeah. And so I want to add two quick things here. And so what we're doing is we're making a couple assumptions about how much inventory you should order. Things are getting slower, there are delays, and we are being pretty conservative here, assuming that those delays will continue, which don't look like they're letting up. In the future, if it looks like things are getting faster with the boats actually not sitting off the coast of LA or sitting at the coast of the port, then you can maybe order less. But the most important thing is that you don't run out of stock. A lot of people get into a niche when they're underfunded and they don't have enough funds to start that product. And so what we're doing is trying to give you an accurate idea of how many units you should really order and how much money this niche is going to cost you to do, and how much this product is going to cost you to do, so you can make sure you're not underfunded getting into the product as well.
So after this first initial assessment, if the numbers that you see here in terms of your profit and your ROI are in the ballpark that you're looking for, and it makes sense to dive deeper, then you can go into these sections and see more detail and customize even more with using the methodology that we have in the course. So, for example, in product design, you can look at the packaging, and sometimes there are amazing opportunities to optimize here. Again, I know this from the course and from the video tutorial. I'm not going into that here, but once I select a good size for my packaging, it's going to calculate automatically the FBA fee and a number of other things. So if I'm, in this case, going to, I don't know, open the calculator, and I'm going to see that this is the breakdown of my base fee. In this particular case of this product, there's no obvious optimization that we can do like easily. Sometimes if you get very close to a specific threshold, then you're going to have a recommendation. For example, if hypothetically, it's not the case for this product, but if hypothetically we would be, I don't know, very close to a threshold, the software would say, hey, reduce just a little bit here, and then you're going to reduce $0.93 from your FBA fee, which is huge.
Yeah, so what we're doing is we're trying to give you an idea that if you're getting standard dimensions from a competitor and you see the packaging from your factory, you might be able to reduce the size of that packaging very little and save a significant amount by getting into a different size tier. Now, moving forward, what this means is 0.08. He's getting into the small standard size, which has a maximum smallest length of 0.75. So this is telling him if he reduces that 0.8 to 0.75, he can now qualify for that small standard and save 93 cents. So the software is going to make recommendations when you're very close. We highly recommend always working with your factory to get everything into as small of a package as possible.
This could be extremely valuable, and this jumps at you. So when you see the green bar with the recommendation, that's a great opportunity to optimize your product. And then once you're done with the design of your packaging, and of course you have to make sure that you select whether it has batteries or not, depending on your product. And you also have to select your category, which is influencing the referral fees. You can go further, and you can, for example, look at the cartons. This is also a great consideration, and it's a place where you can optimize a lot. Follow the course for in-depth information. But what we have here, we can select the size for the cartons in terms of product boxes. How many boxes can you fit one after the other on the length, on the width, on the height? And that's an easy way to think about an export carton. You can also go in details, and you can also see it in centimeters or inch. So this is like going in a lot of depth on your carton and optimizing your shipping and your logistics in general. This also affects your costs when it's stored in a warehouse. It's going to tell you how many cartons you have in this order.
Yeah, and what's interesting is that you can save significant amount of money in every leg of this process, from getting it from China to the US, from getting it from your warehouse to Amazon. All of those legs will cost you more money if you do not optimize for your carton size as well. So we are using what Amazon is considering the maximum allowed, and then trying to help you fit it into the carton so that you can maximize your profits.
In terms of shipping costs, once you have your cartons decided, then it's time to think about shipping. That's an area that is very sensitive, as Brendan just said. We try to give you the most accurate and up-to-date information. So based on your order volume, we're going to recommend one of the methods, but you're free to select another one. For example, in this case, full container load was selected, but for this full container load, which is the best in terms of savings, you don't have the full volume. So it's nice to make plans based on it, but in reality, 9.8 cubic meters are not going to qualify you for a full container. So probably you're going to have to select an LCL, less than full container, and make your plans based on that, or order more, depending on your situation. But if you're going to have 3 destinations that you can select from: to China, to a port on the west coast, in the central area, or on the east coast, and we're going to bring you fresh quotations for those travel destinations. This is what we're doing behind the scenes. There's also a duration. Currently, it's very long. This is an end-to-end duration from your factory to Amazon. We're making some assumptions based on the current numbers that we're seeing. And this section is going to give you the cost and the duration for your order. Then it's time to look at the numbers. After you customize everything about your order, you can deep dive in your numbers. There's another very important number hidden here. What's it going to cost? Currently, this is just a default that is deducted from the price of your competitor. But of course, this is a whole chapter. You have to do sourcing. You have to do a big homework here to put an accurate number. But as a first approximation, we can just deduce it from the price of your competitor. And the tool is going to show you what you make per piece and the number per order in each of these categories. So the revenue is the first, and then your landed cost includes manufacturing, shipping, customs duties. Another area where the software cannot accurately tell you what the number is. You have to do your homework. And of course, there's a tutorial that teaches you how to do that. But once you have it, the landed cost is going to be composed of manufacturing, shipping, and customs. There's going to be costs charged by Amazon, referral fee, FBA fee, storage fee. All these are calculated based on your category and and Amazon's rules. The PPC that we assumed is going to be at 10%. This is like long-term stable state PPC. And this is going to give you the total cost. And if you compare with the revenue, the gross margin for the whole order, if these assumptions are correct. But with 10% and with no launch cost, this is a stable state order. So something that you do in your second order, third order. What about the first order? Because as we know from the course and from the video tutorial, we're going to have to launch the product. This is a very interesting area. Read the information sections, but you can factor in some launch marketing. You can put it in whatever type of cost you want or are recommended in the course. And it's in terms of the revenue for that order. For example, 50% here, which is quite a sizable amount. And you can also put a cash reserve for the second order, which is a percentage of landed cost. Now, I went a little overboard here while I was experimenting, and the default here is less, is 20%, if I recall correctly, Brandon, from the revenue of the order, and the percentage of landed cost for the next order is going to be like 50%. So
I think it's explained in the tutorial, but it's important that people understand that you need a cash reserve to place your second order, because you're ordering enough inventory with this initial order to get it launched and have 2 to 3 weeks of lead time before you have to place that next order. You have not recouped a lot of that capital from that inventory. It is still at your warehouse. It is still at Amazon. It is still selling for a period of time, but you need to place another order so you don't run out of stock. So we want you to be thinking ahead of that second order within the first couple weeks of launch, assuming that things are going well, your conversions are good, you're able to stabilize the product and things are looking up. You're going to want to place that order right away, and you're going to need a down payment. And then after that down payment, you're going to need to complete that second order, usually by the time it's ready to ship, which could only be 2 weeks later. So you have to have almost 100% of that next order within a month of launch, which means that you're going to need a hefty amount of cash reserves in order to do this product properly. That's the type of cash flow planning that a lot of sellers don't do. And this tool will eventually grow into a cash flow planner for you as we continue to evolve it.
This is also going to show you what is the budget required to launch. So the purpose of this additional calculation is to show you, hey, for this particular product, which is very competitive and has a high sales velocity, you're going to need $66,000 approximately in order to make your launch. Then the numbers, of course, improve. Like with subsequent orders, you're going to have more margin and so on. But initially, be prepared to have this cash. Last thing on this screen, if you look at the first year of the life of that product, which is something that many companies prefer to do, including your initial order that had additional cash requirement for launch, and the subsequent orders that come after that and fit inside 1 year, your P&L is going to be 23% for this particular product. So this is a good, let's say, mental model for your first year. It's going to improve the next years. And it's based on the model that Brendan explained for what time period we have in order to consider one of the orders, which is, in this case, 15 weeks, 3.5 turns per year. All the time while we were doing this, the bottom section was updated, but I'm sure Brendan can explain.
Yeah, I think that we've pretty much blown through everything. What you guys need to know when you're using this tool is that we're going to continue to update the shipping fees with the latest fees that we're seeing. We are using accurate numbers there and updating it monthly, if not more often. And we are going to continue to evolve the tool. So as you click into it and use it and it updates on its own, you will see more features and more use cases. We are open to your feedback. I think that your feedback will help us to grow this tool and make it better. So please don't be shy about telling us things you'd like to see or improvements you'd like to see made to it. And I hope that it's a valuable tool for you. Again, pay attention to the keyword research before you make a decision on a product. That's the foremost thing, and that's the other function of Data Dive. So if you guys aren't using that function as well, check it out. And I hope that this calculator is valuable to you, and it's our free gift to you so that you can be successful as a seller. Thank you for your time, guys.